Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. Let's take a look at what we're discussing. The Pakistan team's tour to Australia is the talk of the town. Three test match series that the team will be involved in under the captaincy of Shan Masood, the new 35th test skipper of Pakistan. There are some inclusion and exclusions in the squad. We will be discussing them. What should be the ideal playing 11 for Pakistan? And of course also the fact that, it's going to be a very difficult series, we understand, in Australia. But can we give this new batch of cricketers, this younger lot that has been selected, some of these young boys, a chance to express themselves in the three games that are on offer? And of course on the other side, we saw Pat Cummins back in the nets as well after winning the World Cup for Australia, the ODI World Cup. So the ODI winning captain was back in net sessions and he was bowling pretty quick and he was gearing up for the series against Pakistan. So preparations on both sides are continuing. Then of course we move on to the Pakistan's women's series against New Zealand. Of course they've got ODIs and T20s on this tour and it's a very important series, as I keep on saying that consistent cricket is something that we require on the women's side as well, and now they need to play modern day cricket because it's not going to work like that. Pakistan women have beaten New Zealand 11 in the first warm-up game. I like the fact that there are warm-up fixtures alongside this tour as well, which were a necessity when we consider cricket some while back. So I think all in all, that modern brand of cricket is still missing from the women's game. So that would probably give them a good chance to acclimatize and play according to the conditions as well. Then we move on and we discuss the National T20 Cup that is underway at the National Stadium in Karachi. Action right now is live. You can watch it on PTV Sports in HD. There are a number of games that are being played on a daily basis, and of course I know some people have highlighted the point that they don't like the fact that all the games are not being broadcast. I understand your query, you want to see every team in action, but right now that's the way things are. But we'll keep you updated with all the scores and the players as well, and mind you, some of these players are in prime form, so we will be discussing that as well. That's live action right now, some quality piece of camera work in Karachi, and like I said, action live on PTV Sports HD. You can watch it uninterrupted there. We've got a game that is in progress, so you can of course pick your sides there as well. Then we move on and we also discuss the latest of ICC rankings, and those are something that we need to discuss in detail as well, because I understand although this is a personal milestone, but I think psychologically it does have an effect on certain teams as well. So we'll go through that as well. Time now to introduce our guest. First of all, in studios we've been joined by first-class cricketer, a cricket expert and analyst on various platforms as well, and also on PTV World and PTV sister channels. We've got Kashif Majid. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, sir?
Walaikum salam. Thank you, Ahmed.
We've been also joined by cricket expert and analyst Saad Inam. Assalamu alaikum, Saad. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. Pleasure to be here.
And we also have been joined by senior sports journalist Saeed Haider. Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
Walaikum salam. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm very well. So, sir, Haider, preparations on both sides. And we also understand that amongst these three test matches, we also have a Boxing Day test match. So that tends to be interesting. Historically, it is for Australia. But like I said, that we understand it's going to be a very difficult tour. But there is a lot of talk about some of these new names into the squad as well. Of course, new to the Pakistan setup, but test setup, let me be particular. But we have been following them as well. So is this an opportunity for us to go all out and, at least give some of these guys these three particular test matches?
Yeah, exactly. Australian tour is always very difficult for the Pakistan team because the pitches are very different than Pakistan, and Pakistani players, they are playing whole the year in the Pakistan or in Sri Lanka. There the pitches are very different than Australia, so it will be some problem for the batters there, and the bowlers, they have to show their real talent. That we are missing Naseem Shah there. Naseem Shah could be the best bowler in the Australian pitches, but anyway, Shaheen Shah Afridi and other bowlers, they are there and they can do everything what they have to talent. But the batters, it will be a real exam of the batters because the ball bounced very real bounce there in Australia, and the batters, they have played all the cricket in the last 6-7 months on the pitches where the bounce is lower. So it will be a problem. They have to adjust something in the Australia. It's good sign that they are going to play a side match before the first test match, so it will be a time for the batters to adjust there. But anyway, the batters, they have to go for the real talent. They have to go for the real cricket. They should not be in the isolation. Mostly the batters, if they see that they cannot do against the bowlers, they go into the isolation period. But I will suppose that the batters, they have to play their national cricket. Babar Azam, Shan Masood, or Abdullah Shafiq, or Saud Shakil, they have the ability to play. So I think if they will play their national cricket, they can be successful.
Right. I think what's been missing is something of consistency. But with so many things going on in PCB, I understand things have been haywire. But then again, you got to settle down. And I've always said that we tend to miss out on the most important element, that is the cricket itself. So it's not just whatever is happening in the PCB or the team management. It's also the cricket that we've got to play in Australia. I think that should be the talk of the town. I understand our batters got amongst the runs in the scenario-based practice matches at the Pindi Stadium, but in Australia, things are going to be a bit tough, a bit different to what we're used to be playing in conditions. So I think that's something that we have to gauge. So Kashif bhai, I think particularly we talk about some of these guys who have been given a test call-up as well, and I understand it's always a proud moment for any cricketer to receive that test cap if they get into that playing 11. So how should we be looking at this series? You know, the first test for Shan Masood, the first test for the new team management, and for these youngsters, if they are given an opportunity to play 3 test matches.
So they'll be playing their first test in Australia against the Australian side. So this is how I look at this series. Ahmed, the most important thing for me right now is for all those youngsters who have just joined the team, for all those test debutants, most probably the test debutants, just go out there and enjoy your cricket. Just forget the moment, forget the nerves, forget you are playing against Australia. Just have fun out there, and this is the best you can do in these circumstances. Talking about all the things happening in PCB, players are not to be worried for those things, because this is the Pakistani cricket board setup for the last so many years now. Players are used to it. Every now and then they face these transition periods which we call, and now they are used to it, and we are quite used to of getting a brand new captain after every 50 overs World Cup. So this is something which are quite used to. But most importantly for me right now, talking about this tour, is the quality of cricket Pakistan will play. I would feel the Pakistani batters will be doing good there. It's the bowling side that is the worrying sign for me, and again, taking 20 Australian wickets with this bowling lineup, I think it will be struggle.
Well, the struggle is imminent. I understand that we've got a young bowling attack and always do when we're going to Australia. It's not one of those days where we used to carry that experience. Even the chief selector, Wahab Riaz, mentioned this as well. South, particularly Australia, it's always, something of a nightmare that people start considering. And I understand that those are conditions we're not used to playing. How do you see this tour overall?
Well, if you put it chronologically, Pakistan hasn't been able to win a single test match on the Australian soil for the last, 64 since Pakistan got a test, cap. I think the most important thing for this team particularly is that going into this World Cup, there are zero expectations, and there is already talk in the town where most of the people, the cricket antics, are actually saying about that Shan Masood shouldn't be replaced just on the basis of this one series. So I think they wouldn't be blamed as much as the previous captains have been. And collectively, if you see how Pat Cummins, right after winning the World Cup, the celebration days are already over, and they're back into the game and they're practicing. That shows determination. That shows that they're really good professionals, and it's not a game that they're just going to give up that easy, even after winning the World Chess Championship and the World Cup. So I think it's going to be a great challenge for this new team. And I think Pakistan tend to, change the history a lot when they go into anything without, too much expectation on themselves. But I think Test cricket is kind of really different from all of that, since, it is really a test of patience, perseverance. So I think Shan Masood's experience in his county days, especially when he was in the England, they're really going to come into, lots of use, because England has a potential of playing coming up against Australia in the Ashes. So that is something that he would have to put into use. And then again, like Brother Kasha was saying, that they have to go and enjoy their game. This is something that there's no such expectation from them to actually change the history collectively for the Pakistani cricket.
Saad, how do you see Babar Azam's case? Because there's been a lot of talk surrounding him, and I understand that we're in a part of the world where the media tends to then follow one particular subject. And of course, that captaincy saga is now over, and I think people should get over it. And for an individual like Babar Azam, we know that he's very mentally strong. We saw him in the practice sessions. Then we saw the camaraderie between the team as well in some of the videos posted on social media by the PCB. So there were good signs. But as an individual, What does this series mean for him?
I think it is for his advantage. I think he should just go and enjoy his game. I think this has been one off chance where he has to just give up all the criticism that he has to potentially face at the end of the any series for that matter, especially this one, because he has to answer no one. And then I think this is something that India did as a favor to Virat Kohli when he was dropped as a captain and Rohit Sharma was made the captain at that time. I think it's to if it was up to Babar, he could actually utilize that to a great advantage and play his natural cricket, and for once in a while just enjoy his cricket like in the olden days. I think in case of particularly Babar being the captain, if you may ask me, I don't think he is the the dark knight we deserve right now. He is the dark knight we need.
Certainly put into words that are very emotional for me, at least, with that particular movie tagline. And I always tend to find quotes out of that particular blockbuster. But Sir Haider, it's not just us. I think international media is also eager to see Babar Azam now relinquishing his role as a skipper for Pakistan across formats, and they're very eager to see him. The last time he was in Australia, he was a treat to watch even for the commentators.
Yeah, exactly. Babar Azam is the one of the best batters right now in the world, and he has ability to convince everyone. He has done in past very nicely. In Australia, he has met one century there, and now in next tour, upcoming tour, I think he will perform as he has done everywhere in England or South Africa or anywhere. But the question is that why we are depending only the Babar Azam? That is a question that because cricket is not like tennis or squash, cricket is a team game. Why the other batters they are out of this scenario that only if we are depending on the Babar Azam, then it means that you are just before you are going into the competition, you are deciding that your other team is not able. I think all other batters they have to show their responsibility also. Shan Masood, he is the captain, he is the skipper of the team. He has to do something. Not only the captaincy, but he has to show his batting also. If you will depend only the Babar Azam, then you cannot do everything what you need someone. Because in Australia is not like Sri Lanka or any other venue. Australia, there you have everyone should have give some 100% performance. Otherwise, you cannot do anything. The question is that Babar Azam, how he will be under the captaincy of Shahan Masood because he was the captain. I think I believe that Babar Azam is the well-deserved person in the team that who should be the captain of the Pakistan team. But anyway, the management have decided to go with the Shahan Masood as a captain. Now the question is that the Babar Azam under the captaincy of another new captain, how he will perform it because the media is making the stories. But I believe that Babar is a very positive person. He is always very positive out of the field, in the field, and he will show his batting skill there in Australia. And Australian media they are expecting good innings from. I have read an article in Australia that the Babar Azam is coming again to Australia. So it means that Babar Azam is not only the batter of the Pakistan, but is a batter of the international cricket, and everyone enjoys to see the Babar Azam when he is on the crease. And I'm making very good hopes that Babar Azam will be showing that he is one of the best batter in the world.
Right, Kashif, as a player, you can probably relate to this fact that a player always has a rough patch, and then you have to get out of it, and you're probably one good performance away from where you start feeling that you're in the zone again. But there was this added responsibility of being a skipper, and the way our part of the world treats that entire scenario, where it almost becomes a crime if you're a skipper of a losing team in a World Cup, and you can win or lose, it could go either way, but then you have to be accountable for your decisions. A lot has been said. The media has not been easy on Babar Azam. A lot of people have also said that he was treated very poorly by the PCB. That is one part of the picture. But as a player now, this Australia series, you're not the captain anymore. You can focus on your cricket, which is your primary job. How do you see this?
I guess that is good for Babar Azam. The Babar Azam I know from the last 10 years when he used to play for the Islamabad region. He is very much particular about his batting. The way the work ethics he has got with his batting that is enormous. I can still feel that he'll be challenging Steve Smith in his own backyard. He'll be he'll be thinking of beating Manas Labuschagne, David Warner and Steve Smith maybe together in their own backyard. This is how Babar Azam see every series, because he can relate, or he can challenge someone, their best player against himself, and he is looking to score runs. So most probably, in a nutshell, I still believe losing captaincy on the just before the tour of Australia, maybe that is a good omen for Babar Azam. He can enjoy his batting, and so does we. We always wanted Babar Azam to score some quality runs against the quality sides. Just recently, I've been going through those social media pages, and every now and then I see Dale Steyn versus Babar Azam back in those days when Dale Steyn was used to bowl 145 clicks, and those outswinger and Babar scored quite brilliantly against him in their own backyard. So this is how we treat, or most probably I treat Babar Azam when we talk about Babar Azam scoring runs against the likes of Stark, Cummins, Ball and Hazelwood. This will be a treat to watch, but it's just not Babar Azam. Let's not get into that mindset of Indian cricket or that star TV channel where everything in the World Cup is about Virat Kohli. Our team going to Australia, I still believe Abdullah Shafiq, Rizwan and Shan Masood, they all have got brilliant chance of scoring, because all of these batsmen, they like ball to come onto their bat. Rizwan is so good with his pull and cut shots. He will enjoy those pitches. So does Shan Masood, and so does Abdullah Shafiq. I still believe there is a role of Saud Shakil to be played in the middle of the innings. And yes, after that there is a long silence from my side, because then becomes the bowling. And I still believe if Shaheen Shah Afridi remains fit through those 3 weeks, 3 test matches, I believe we still have a chance. But thinking of getting 20 wickets, it's difficult. Again, the word is difficult.
I understand the argument, Kashif, would still be the same, that lack of domestic exposure is what is causing, particularly our bowlers, their ability to bowl longer spells. But why is there a looming fitness crisis right now in the Pakistan cricket structure, which is not being talked about much?
For the last 2 years, we haven't have a single fitness test. So when we talk about those fitness tests not being considered, primarily before this regime, it was when we talk about top 6 teams competing in the highest, in the best tournament, that is Quaid-e-Azam Trophy, we have to have those fitness tests. When Misbah was in charge, every 3 months, once every 3 months. I still remember in the COVID, in the very strict COVID restrictions, there was a fitness test. There has to be a fitness test online, and the coaches in those regional teams, they monitor those fitness tests. I still believe, I cannot take the names of those players who have been part of the northern team, and I actually watched them going through all those drills and the skills for the fitness test. So this is one reason. Second important reason is, Ahmed, I still believe pitches and the mantra of creating the green tops in Pakistan has caused a lot of damage to our fast bowling resources. I still believe for the last 4 or 5 years, the fast bowling has emerged in the Pakistan, but simultaneously we lost our spinners, the zip of the spinners, the spin of the spinners. Primarily, all those spinners now wanted to play T20 cricket. When it comes to the T20 cricket or the franchise cricket, the loop, the spin, the flight, everything has gone away. It's just a straighter ones, or duck into their pads, or just come up with the deliveries. You can bowl just dot balls. It's not the wicket taking options for the spinners now. So considering all those facts, I think I still believe PCB has to chalk out a plan. So does the individual players. If they want to be a test cricket, they want to remembered as a test cricket, they have to focus test cricket.
How do we focus test cricket then becomes a mantra which needs to be followed, and a conundrum where that respect for domestic cricket should be there. And Saad, I think that's not a discussion that is probably has been initiated right now, but has been the talk of the town in various PCB regimes, but nothing constructive has been done for domestic cricket.
I think for starters, if you just look at how this National T20 Cup has been happening, and how the players have been made to put Pakistan and the national and the domestic side a priority, which has been a long waiting due. I think It should have been done a very long time ago. I think that trend, that trickles down to a more change as we could see, because I would believe that nothing changes overnight. And that's the trend that I think Pakistan Cricket Board is actually following. And those much needed changes are actually on the way. So I am kind of optimistic towards that, but yes, more strategic, more heavy decisions that are needed to be taken in order to change that. I think better structure for financing and sponsoring the domestic leagues, specifically how you see where in our neighboring country in India, where they play, actually the domestic side is actually really hailed and it's glorified because it is actually linked with a lot of money involved in it. So I think a lot of restructuring that needs to be done and within the cricket board on the basis of just not sponsoring, but also on the basis on the merit as well. So all in all, it needs an entire revamp, and we already see a few changes coming through as well. So really hoping for really good changes coming in the future as well.
One thing I
Yes,
want to add, Ahmed, Qaid-e-Azam Trophy and Hanif Mohammad Trophy, they happened in the month. They started in the month of September, and nobody cared actually, and nobody bothered for that. The teams got selected very in a very haphazard manner because there was not time available, and they just got to know that this season is based on these circumstances. But right now, I just coming through for this program, I got certain calls. People are talking about, have you got any department to play this President Trophy, they're calling it. So this is the role of a department. Now they are serious about it. Now they talk about it that they wanted a department. Why? Because when it comes to the Pakistan and when it comes to the domestic structure in Pakistan, we look forward to play for a department because this is a guaranteed job for at least 1 year. That is normally the departments got placed on the contract basis for 1 year. So this is a guaranteed job for 1 year. Second important thing, if you get the job, and then there was a responsibility for you to perform. So eventually the quality of cricket improves. And the most important thing, the department has got all their resources available to them to pick players from every corner of the Pakistan and
But
give them.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I think over the years I've met the most amount of people from SNGPL, if I'm not wrong. I saw the most amount of people who were much stable there. As far as employment was concerned.
You have seen most amount of people playing for the PIA when Wasim Akram was the captain of the Pakistani team. You have seen most amount of people playing for the Habib Beng when Javed Miandad and Salim Malik was in power in the Pakistani lineup. This tends to happen when we talk about SNGPL. Misbah was the captain of SNGPL. Everybody wanted to play for SNGPL. I don't want to get into the history, but Iftikhar started from Pakistan Wavda as an opener, and every now and then he was told that we need a middle order batsman, and you have got the guts to play in the middle order batsman because you are a utility cricketer. You get ball spin, you are a good fielder, and you can bat in the middle order. So he changed his game and changed his position and adjusted himself. You still remember that test match when he was called to England in the Misbah era and he got a wicket, just 2 runs or a wicket. That is his performance. But what happened was, Iftikhar, who's quality player against fast bowlers, struggle against spinners in playing in the middle order. So these things do happen when it comes to the department. When the captain is in the certain department, playing for a certain department, people tends to go for that department, and this is the common thing. It's worldwide. It's a worldwide phenomenon. Everybody wanted to play for Mumbai Indians and IPL. Why? Because for certain reasons, and again for certain reasons. So this tends.
Sometimes there's a back door to international cricket, and if you can go there, they probably you can.
Hardik Pandya said, I wanted to play for Mumbai Indians. He's the captain of one IPL franchise who have won one IPL in the recent years, and he still wanted to play for Mumbai Indians. This is the class of Mumbai Indians.
It's all about that, the fact that how much financial stability is there. But we will come to that point as well. Sir Haider, this domestic cricket saga, from an international observer's point of view, and you get to travel the world as well, you've seen various systems in play. It's very important to understand that ours is not a new system. It's been there for ages now. And we can start from the, I think, era of the departments which used to dominate as far as good salaries were concerned, employment opportunities, benefits, everything, stability. You know, that was one of the prime reasons why people opted for departments, not just in cricket but various other sports as well. Then came an economic turnaround where departments actually started treating those people like dead weight and started cutting them off. Then came an era when department was completely finished, just you know, a couple of years back. Then we have again gone to the departments, and then you know, the Pakistan Cricket Board sent a letter of asking departments to show their availability and keenness to join the first class structure, and they got a very limited response. I mean, even we used to have a Governors' Cup for only banks, but that's not there anymore as well. So, you know, how do we settle this dispute once and for all? Because like I said, this is not the first PCB regime that is involved in with the task of improving domestic cricket.
Ahmed, I would say that in the past we have produced good batters or bowlers not due to departmental cricket. They have been produced due to our cricket nurseries, school cricket, and club cricket, which is today I'm not seeing this type of the cricket today. School cricket is totally eliminated, and club cricket is also we don't have the grounds. So how the club cricket can be played? Only the good grounds available, but they are very expensive. In Karachi, 3-4 good cricket grounds, but there you have to pay a lot of money to play there. So the problem is not that the department cricket or regional cricket. The problem is that our basic level cricket is not being played. This is a major problem. School cricket, college cricket, university cricket, or club cricket. The departments, they have picked the players from the nurseries, from the college universities or from the club system, but departments, they have never started any type of the cricket nursery. They did have some coaching academies, but PIE or someone, but all other departments they did not have. The department cricket was only the cricket for the department, not department were they have not started the teams for the cricket. They were investing a lot of money, but they were investing the money from the people taxes, from the people revenues. But the school cricket is very necessary. Now we cannot see there. If you want to produce Wasim Akram or Javed Miandad or Ramiz Raja like players again, you have to reconstruct your cricket on the basic level: school cricket, college cricket, and club cricket. It is very necessary. We have seen in the past that all the big players, from the Hanif Mohammed to Imran Khan, and from Imran Khan to Javed Miandad and till Wasim Akram, they were all from the club cricket. They were playing in the club cricket, then they have come into the regional cricket association, then to departments, and then to the national team. This is very necessary. Now the teams, T20 Cup being played right now, and I have seen one match of Karachi Whites and Lahore Blues, and I have seen that Karachi Whites, they could win this match, but the coaches, the management, they were totally silent. They did not have any plan. So by which, if it means that you are just going to earn the money as a coach or as a manager, but you don't have any emotion to win the match. This is the problem there. If you can organize all the whole the year such type of tournaments, but your quality is not available, then you cannot produce big players. This is the major problem.
Right. Saad, let's play a little game of numbers, shall we? I think because we want to discuss that financial stability factor. I think why people because the primary, let me just give you the primary topic on this one. The primary topic is where people complain that, you know, a player ending up in India playing for the Ranji Trophy, even for a small state team, ends up making a handsome amount of money, you know, from anywhere from 2-3 crores to 5 crores minimum, I think. In Pakistan, Kashmir, 10-15 lakhs, can I say that?
If he can play each and every match of the domestic season, getting each and every daily and the match fee, then he can earn around 10 lakhs.
At the end of the season?
At the end of the season.
So end of the season, let's limit our canvas, Saad, to 10 lakhs. Now, where we talk about why money isn't pouring in and why I talk about a public-private partnership. I'm going to give you some stats, Saad, and then I want you, because you also are probably involved in a corporate setup where you can comment on this as well, why there is not money coming in. I'll just give you the 6 franchises of the Pakistan Super League and their net worth as of now, and please excuse me if certain figures are a bit off. Karachi Kings net worth is 90 million US dollars. I'm only talking about dollars right now, I'm not even converting them. Quetta Gladiators, $40 million. Islamabad United, 240 million US dollars. Lahore Qalandars, 600 billion US dollars, Pakistani rupees, so you can convert it. We'll get through that. At 47 million US dollars for Peshawar Zalmi and 80 million US dollars for Multan Sultan. So particularly above 50 million US dollars for each team. Now, when you've got 6 particular teams investing in franchise cricket, was it not possible once you renew those contracts every year, and every year there's a renewal fees for these PSL franchises, that you get in a clause or you sit down with a couple of accountants or marketing people of the PCB, and constitution wise you give the patronage of particular teams to particular entities that are from the corporate setup?
Well, essentially, if you look at from that perspective, if you really want an idea of how these corporate and conglomerates really operate, they really don't care about the spirit of the game. They really don't care about cricket as a sport as we passionately love it. One of the greatest reasons why we are seeing lesser and lesser, longer formats of this cricket game is because there's more money involved in the T20 franchisees and in the T10 cricket leagues. I think essentially as we move forward, the attention span of collectively of just to involve more people into it, and then at the end of the day happen to be more surrounding and circulating it more around gambling more particularly. I think the main focus and the focal point of all these franchisees and all of these companies tend to be just business. It's not really about cricket. So when you bring in that aspect where you see Pakistan Cricket Board being under how would you put it, in a way where it is designed and being operated as mandated by the Pakistani government, yet it doesn't take any sort of financial support from the government even in doing that. So I think it does come upon to the PCB management style in which they should be doing that with those franchises. They should be having a sit down with them. One of the greatest reasons why you could see a lot of players coming back to the domestic side is because PCB actually wanted them to. There were no gateways to get involved in the franchises cricket if they were to put Pakistan on a second priority list. I think that needs to be addressed first, that the management actually takes those decisions whenever they have a sit down with those franchises, and then happen to tell them, hey, the same companies that are going to be involved in the PSL have to take the responsibility of putting the same sort of money in when there's just domestic players, when the international sponsorship isn't involved. So that a tie down, and that is it. I think it all comes down to how greatly you negotiated with them.
So I was just able to do that math. Lahore Qalandars becomes the most expensive franchise, I think more than $2 billion US dollars. So that being said, I think Saad is right that they look at it from a perspective of a businessman. And I understand it's just good business, as the word goes, but you can definitely, I think, convert it into a business. Obviously, when you pour in money, then you have to be, it goes like sell me this pen. So you need to sell those franchises. I think that will be that. That being said, Kashif, Saad and Syed Haider, thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us. That wraps it up from me and the entire team. It's goodbye for now.